Welcome back everybody, we've got another prevent session for you today. We've got an upper body focus, so we're going to be spending some time on some of the joints of the upper body, most notably the shoulders, doing some work on strengthening the muscles, connective tissues that surround those joints, make sure we are as prepared as we can be for our training that comes in the future. So let's get started. For a couple of the movements that we're going to be doing in today's prevent session, we're going to need either a very small, so it's like a 1 kilogram plate, or a water bottle that's sort of half or full, that we can use as a bit of external resistance for some of the movements that we're just about to go through. So first one we're going to look at is an exercise for the traps. So one of the muscles on the posterior of our body, so the back of our body, involved with stabilising things overhead and making sure that our shoulder blade is moving as freely and as efficiently as it can be. So we're going to use a post to stabilise ourselves, hinge forward at the hips, and we're going to take the plate or the bottle and turn so that our thumbs are pointing out. So the camera's side onto me. If I stand straight on, you'll see that I've turned my thumb, so my palm's facing forward, thumb out to the side. So I'm going to get myself in this position, I'm going to pull my shoulder blade up so it's engaged, and I'm going to raise this weight out to the side of the room, and I'm thinking about raising this weight towards the camera. So rather than just sort of pulling it up, I'm thinking about reaching it out away from me across the room, or towards you on the camera. So we go through that on both sides. Again, set myself up with my hinge, turn my thumb out, palm facing forward. Engage the shoulder blade before reaching the weight out away from me, and a nice slow controlled tempo back to the start point. Hit pause on the video. You're going to take yourself through 2 sets of 12 to 15 reps on each arm. We'll need our plate again for our second movement for today, so we're going to do some work on the external rotators of our shoulders. So again, external rotation, a really key position for us to be in for anything that goes overhead, particularly if we're going to do something like an Olympic lift like a snatch or a handstand push-up. If we can get some external rotation through the shoulders, that's really going to support that nice stacked overhead position. So come down onto the floor, we'll take the plate in one hand, and with the same knee we'll raise that one up. Rest the elbow on the knee, keep a nice 90-degree angle at the elbow as I raise and slowly lower. So it's the way back down that I'm trying to control, the way back up not quite so important, but what is important on the way back down is that I don't let the shoulder collapse forward. So I keep nice posture, shoulder blade engaged, raise and slowly lower with the tempo here. Again, you won't need much weight for this, maybe 1 kilo, half a water bottle, if that's about right for you. You're going to take yourself through 3 sets, 10 to 15 on that, on each arm, and then we'll move on to our next movement. So we'll need some sort of pipe or band or stick or anything we can get our hands on for movement number 3 today. And again, we're going to focus on, we're going to kind of combine the 2 muscles that we've isolated a second ago, the mid-traps on our back and the external rotators of the shoulder. So again, try and solidify those positions as best we can. So we're going to use our PVC pipe, come down to the floor, and I'm going to get myself in a position where I'm chest and forehead on the floor. I'm going to take my sort of like normal, just outside shoulder width grip. I'm just going to go for like a strict press type movement, just with the pipe behind my head and keeping it off the floor. So I'll give you a couple of example reps. My focus with this movement is keeping my chest on the floor, so I'm not getting into that gymnastic arched position. I can keep myself flat and trying to keep the pipe and my hands off the floor as I press it from behind my neck overhead. So I'm not going to let my hands and the pipe rest on the floor at the top. I'm going to try and keep it off the floor the whole way through. We're going to take ourselves through 3 sets of about 10 to 12 reps of that. Give yourself 60 to 90 seconds rest in between. Hit pause on the video, take yourself through those, and then we'll move on to movement number 4. Final 2 movements for today. We are going to want some sort of really light resistance band. So something like this is going to be perfect, as opposed to, a green or a black, one of the resistance bands that we typically use. Something like this is going to be ideal. If all we've got in the gym is one of the red resistance bands, then that's going to be fine. But we're going to take this and we're going to use a post or a ring post or something like that to help us, and we're just going to thread the resistance band around, take a grip here, and I'm going to pull back to get a little bit of resistance, not too much, and then I'm going to draw circles with my arms from top to bottom. So the movement's going to look something like this. Moving back to get a bit of resistance. Drawing those circles from top to bottom, so I'm really focusing on trying not to let my chest flare as I get into those positions. Keep my core nice and engaged as I draw those circular patterns. Again, it should feel quite difficult on the backs of the shoulders, which is why we only want a nice light resistance on that one. We're going to take ourselves through 2 sets of 10 circles. So if we start at the top, 1 circle would be bottom to top, that would be 1 rep. We'll take ourselves through 10 of those for 2 sets. So hit pause on the video. We'll join back for the last movement of today's prevent session. So movement number 5, last movement for today. We're just going to do some banded rows, which might seem very, very light. We're thinking about a bent over row, but we're going to be incorporating a pause and a hold at the top. So I'm going to stand on my band here and apply a fair bit of resistance this time. I've got my hinge, and I'm going to pull the band so that my hands come up to like the bottom of my ribs, so in this position. So notice that the elbows aren't flaring out to the side here. I'm keeping them in nice and tight. I'm keeping the shoulder blades active, and I'm not shrugging. I'm keeping my shoulders down. I'm going to sit in this position. I'm going to hold for 8, 7, 6, 8 seconds. I've obviously been here for a while, and then I'll slowly lower that off. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and slowly lower off. So with that light resistance band, I want you to go through about 8 to 10 reps, again for 3 sets with 60 seconds rest in between. Hit pause on the video and take yourself through those sets. That'll be our last movement for today. So really good work today everyone on today's prevent session on your upper body. Hopefully those of you who've been following the programme for a little while now and have been sort of continuously doing these types of sessions are noticing that when you come back to the gym, your joints, particularly of the upper body if you've been doing sessions like today, lower body if you've been focusing on those, are feeling a little bit less niggly as you come out of sessions and perhaps the day or 2 after sessions. And even hopefully your performance is starting to increase if you've been sticking to this over a period of time. Like I say, fantastic work. Really, really enjoyed having you here today. Look forward to seeing you in the next one.